My name is Joshua Nyambane. I am a diplomat by profession. I specialize in strategic partnerships, policy formulation, consultancy, climate, and more especially educational diplomacy. First and foremost, I want to say that the Constitution of Kenya, Article 43, Article 53, and Education Act 2013 guarantees education as compulsory, especially basic education. It's imperative for us to note that education is a very important equalizer, and it's through education that we can be able to realize our Vision 2030. And now, as the government is trying to allow people to discuss about the Vision 2060. So education is a very important pillar for that matter. The SDG 4 talks about education. It's important for us to have some regulations and law that is going to enforce the SDG 4. The universities play a very important role in trying to ensure there is capacity building in this country and the entire of the world, so that we can slowly make sure that we can transform the society through education. So I want to say once again that the universities play a very important role in terms of research, so that we can have decisions that are made based on the data. In other words, we want to make decisions that are data-driven, and that will ensure that we change and transform our social-economic spectrum. Very important to note, I just want to acknowledge that there is tremendous changes that have taken place over time. As we speak currently, we are trying to implement the CBE curriculum, and the rationale is based on the international requirements of UNESCO, that we need to, each and every time after a period of time, change our curriculum to meet the international standards. And therefore, what we have done as we speak, we are currently implementing an education system that meets educational or global standards. And the CBE curriculum is very important, as it's going to slowly come up with aspects and realization of special abilities of each and every specific child in the Republic of Kenya. However, we need to enhance capacity building on the implementers. We also need to fine-tune our curriculum so that we can eventually have to implement it. And also, we need to ensure that we make education free from basic primary up to university or tertiary levels. And that will ensure that those who cannot afford because of poverty levels can be able to access education, and eventually they'll be able to change their lives and the country and the world at large. It's important that we strive all the time to ensure that we don't lose our culture, and our culture is our identity, and therefore when we encourage the teaching of history and culture and religion, it's going to enhance our identity across the globe, because people who don't have their history and who forget their history, they risk living in other people's history, and that will be able to make them or render them not in existence. So it's important to encourage our educational system, embrace our histories, what brings us together, what makes us very special, and that is how we are going to identify our problems that require our own customized solutions. Otherwise, we cannot be able to import decisions from outside to solve our own problems. Even the laws that we make, they must observe our history, our setup. They must also look at our culture and our values. And that's how we are going to incorporate them in our educational sector, so that we can enhance our identity and sense of belonging. For many years, since 1963, I've adopted a diplomatic policy that actually guarantees our shared values. And I want at this juncture to acknowledge the contributions and the development that is actually happening in that space, especially in the diplomatic space. We currently have more than 70 missions abroad, and most of the attaches and missions actually include the educational sector. And yes, Kenya is trying their best. We also want to challenge the government to consistently try to involve diplomatic experts in the diplomatic missions. Kenya has an opportunity to actually make education free. It's also important for us to know that we can actually do our education based on the needs that we have in the market. I would challenge us that as a people, we need to think on how we can be able to have a sector-oriented educational system where we are going to train skill sets that we require in the job market. I want to say that there is a lot of scholarships that come courtesy of our diplomatic relations. For instance, the social relations aspect. We have different countries, friendly countries that allow us and give us opportunity for our people to study as a cultural exchange programs, educational linkages programs. And this, yes, could be encouraged, but it's important for the government to be able to realize exactly what are the interests of those countries as we enjoy those particular scholarship opportunities. However, I just want to say that diplomacy allows educational exchanges, outreaches, and academic linkages because we are solving common problems affecting the global community. Thank you.